Morning, everybody. How's everybody today? So, I'm really enjoying the cards I'm drawing right now. So we're going to skip Celtic Devotional today, and we're going to go right into Isis Oracle. And one of the card that came up, Aster just loves to sit. The card that came up is called Knot of Isis. And our ancestors, pretty much everywhere in the world, really understand the sacredness of braids, of knotting threads, of creating fabric, all those things. And the Knot of Isis is a sacred symbol that goes back a really long time. And it's often used in amulets. And I have a Knot of Isis right here. This one is actually one that I have had on my in my kit, my altar kit. I made it a couple years ago. It's really an amazing protection amulet. And I'm going to read from the oracle. I thought it was really cool that it came up because I braided my hair last night and it started coming open this morning because the reason I braided it, that manifestation in what I dreamed last night happened, and so the braid came undone. And that does happen sometimes. Sometimes when you create a woven thing with an intention, when that intention has been completed, you will find that that braid or that weaving comes undone. And that's kind of a natural part of the process. One of the things that I've taught for years, those that work with stones and crystals, and they make jewelry or they make necklaces and bracelets and earrings, and they make them for purpose, and they find that those necklaces break or the earrings break or they lose one. It usually means that whatever that intention was set for, that has gone through its completion. It no longer serves you energetically. So I'm going to read this. You are under the spiritual guidance and protection of the divine feminine. Part of your high destiny is to heal and flourish through the divine feminine in all her forms. Whether you feel connection with any individual goddess, image, or the divine feminine more holistically, as your soul braids or twines with her, you will feel your awareness and consciousness of your own divine feminine nature become stronger, more integrated, and more balanced part of your life and a sense of self. The body will also begin the integration of this shift into your soul as you work with the feminine energies to bring soul and body and light together, blending the physical and the inner worlds of light together until they begin to feel very connected and harmonized. Eventually, as this process continues, when you feel your body, you feel your soul light present there. There will be no distinction between your soul and your body. It will be luminously connected. The knot or buckle of Isis, or the protection of Isis, that sometimes it's called a girdle of Isis, guides and stabilizes your energy field whilst it is in transition from one state of growth into another. It is especially useful for spiritual growth within the feminine energies because they are intimately related to the body and the relationship between soul and body. Creating light within the body, connecting soul and body, one consciousness, harmonious, illuminated being. The Knot of Isis is like a container that holds you together, whilst inside, in a gentle way, you fall apart enough that you can be reorganized, restructured, and reformed within the sacred container. Do you want this, Astra? Come here. Do you want this? For some reason things are beeping. Stop. The knot of Isis is like a container that holds you together, whilst inside, in a gentle way, you fall apart enough that you can be reorganized, restructured, and reformed within the sacred container of the sacred knot. Once you are stable in your new soul structure, the knot is no longer needed until the next transition point in your relationship between your body of growing light and your soul, and they become more united. You may call for the knot of Isis as a symbol that you visualize or energetically support the structure that you may not perceive directly, but will feel the effect. Anytime you need this, you can do the ritual that follows, prefaced with unconditional love. Because you are integrating all the time, you're transitioning, you're integrating, you're transmuting, you're always working with energy. Rest and meditate. Make sure that you're resting, drinking lots of water, make sure you eat good foods. So the ritual of the knot of Isis. You can start with the incantation of the knot of Isis and then continue. Close your eyes and imagine that you are being gently rocked Close your eyes and imagine you are being rocked in a vibrant red cradle that feels safe and stable, neither too small or too large. It is just the right size and shape and movement for you to feel perfectly comfortable. The cradle radiates the most beautiful red you have ever seen or felt, vibrant, glowing, and you feel safe, secure, and loved. Within it, you can grow, and magically the cradle grows with you as you do. It is always the perfect shape and size for you. Allow yourself to grow as large as you like. Your energy field growing, pulsing, and expanding with light and strength. Divine goddess energies will feel as large and strong and potent as is right for you at this time. At all times, the red cradle, holds you perfectly. This cradle is a symbol for the knot of Isis that you are held. Stay within the feeling this for as long as necessary. In all ways, I am held safe. As I grow strong and take my place in my high spiritual destiny for the benefit of all humanity, the knot of Isis supports me. In unconditional light and love of my own free will, so mote it be. I unconditional love, I call forth the Isis knot. I am held in love like a babe in a cot. The buckle of the beloved has me secure as my energy field now does mature. The goddess within my body and soul, the knot of Isis, helps me grow whole. You know, this particular knot shows up in a lot of artwork in antiquity, where women have used this knot to tie cloth, and the knot usually sits right here between heart and womb. It's kind of in that middle place. You see a lot of artwork where you see that, and it is very much a integration and a protection symbol, and it's a practical knot. You can use it. I think the reason that I wanted to make sure to take a little time is it has to do with the stabilization of energy. Like the knot, the card talks about stabilization, energetic stabilization, integration, transmutation. When you are working through something that you are vulnerable, your whole life feels like it's falling apart, like there's all this stuff going on. Maybe you're getting rid of energetic tethers. Maybe you're untying the unhealthy bonds between you and other people. And this is the thing. You can do that on your part because that's your karmic choice, right? It doesn't have to do with the other person. You on your end, you are cleaning your field. You are untying those unhealthy relationships. And you can do that with love and grace without harming someone. And knotwork, any kind of braided knotwork in ceremony is part of that understanding how the woven threads of, and you can use the symbol of the weaver, that's an ancient symbol, or tying of knots, like the sailor who ties knots on the ocean. There are some beautiful ancient stories that talk about knots and weaving and how we are all woven together, and yet we all still have to walk or ride the boat ourselves alone. And knotwork and using braids with intention, knotwork in sigils or protections, these are ancient forms of manifesting that energy in our day-to-day life and learning to look at these things with intention and with focus. One of the things that many cultures have very specific rules about when you weave fabric. I read once that there is, I don't remember which culture it is, but there is a culture that women who weave don't weave on their period. And not because they're going to imbibe some kind of evilness into the fabric, but because women's power is very strong. And when she's on her period, her body is going through this entire cleansing process. There's a huge vulnerability that she has during that time. And so not weaving does not deplete. It means that she's taking care of herself, honoring her body, and she is not depleting herself by then weaving too, because then she is giving too much of her life force. There's another culture, and again, I don't remember which one. I read a lot, so I'm not always remembering where I get all my information, but there's another culture that you want women who are on their period to weave certain kinds of things, because it's a very sacred power of the ability to fully cleanse and, as they say, the magic and mystery of bleeding for 7 days, right? Preparing your womb for life. So there's a kind of medicine that comes from things that are woven during that time. There is another story that talks about women who have gone past where they can no longer have children. There's a sacred power and a medicine of what she weaves. There are some amazing traditions around the world all talking about the sacredness of braiding, of weaving, of knotting things. There used to be a huge amount of stories that talked about the sacredness of knots and the magic in knots. And there's a lot of power in that. I have a friend from a really long time ago who became a sailor, and he works in knots. That's one of his hobbies, photography and knots. And he's near and dear to my heart, and I think of him often. And 30 years separate us in space and time since we've seen one another, but almost 30 years, 26, 25, I don't know, long time. And I still think about the woven threads of our connection and the symbolism of how powerful his knotting is and how powerful it is in his life, and the magic that he's created in his life through his hobby and his profession, because he uses knots as a sailor on the ocean as part of his profession. So there are threads that tie us together, and you can use knotting and weaving magic to unfurl the threads. I'm going to undo this. You can use the release of a knot or a weaving to release the energy and to begin again. And beginning again is a beautiful thing. Every ending is a new beginning. Every door that closes, another one opens. every moment of your day is an opportunity to cherish the next lesson. And no matter how hard that lesson is, no matter how much of an obstacle it seems, no matter how hard it seems, there is beauty in that. There is beauty in that change. And it's not a scary thing. So have a beautiful day. Carry the knot of Isis with you to protect you and to also help you understand how we're all connected. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you tomorrow in prayer. Blessed be.